Well, here's an interesting little tidbit. This is after all the release of Snyder Cut rage for November 17th, which was the anniversary of the release of Justice League. It's been 2 years. Well, the whole thing got started off by Man of Steel. And one of the high points of Man of Steel was the character of Faora. Just her whole presence was pretty much a scene stiller. And the display of Kryptonian superpowers certainly seemed more exciting and fascinating, demonstrated by her, than even Superman, which might be a slight weakness in the sense that the way that Superman defeats Zod is because Zod's just not used to the powers yet, because he's a far superior fighter, because he's a trained soldier and everything. And yet, Faora certainly demonstrates some pretty, especially with the super speed prowess and whatnot. But then again, for the most part, she has her mask on that keeps her not needing to breathe Earth's atmosphere. Yet they still have the power. They never quite figured that one out. And you could chalk it up to, yeah, her fighting prowess. She doesn't fly or any of that stuff. So Zod comes into the powers later, the being able to fly and the heat vision and all that stuff. So it may be a weakness, but it's a minor one. And I really enjoyed her performance. And since she, the article points out this interesting thing here is that on Instagram, she tweeted a throwback picture of herself when she was in training for Faora. And she's all sweaty here after working out and getting ready for that role. And then someone responded to that. Is there any chance of you coming back as Faora? And then she responds, working on it. Well, now gee, what does she know? And you say, wait a minute, didn't she die at the end? No, Zod died. And the article goes on here from Cosmic Book News, and that she's stuck in the Phantom Zone. That's what happened. All the Kryptonian criminals except Zod got sucked back into the Phantom Zone, along with what's his name from Law and Order and the scientist. So you can imagine they're still in there too, I suppose. But perhaps humans wouldn't survive that. But anyway, that's how that happened. And Zod's corpse, of course, got used to make Doomsday for Batman versus Superman. So he's gone, but she's not. And so there's the possibilities that they go on. Of course, the best possibility would have been a Man of Steel 2, but we're just not getting it at this point. I had held out hope for quite a while that something would be worked out. It's really bad that apparently Cavill and Christopher McQuarrie pitched not only Superman, but Green Lantern as well, and it was turned down. And I suppose this might have been about the time they knew they were going to make a deal with J.J. Abrams. He talks about that here too. But J.J. Abrams wants to cast a younger Superman. And this is always the thing when someone comes. Same thing with Matt Reeves. He didn't really want to come in on what Zack Snyder had established. He wants to do his own thing. And since he's very successful with the Planet of the Apes movies, he's got more clout. J.J. Abrams has clout. So if he doesn't want a Henry Cavill Superman, or he doesn't want to deal with what's already been established, then he doesn't have to. So if they're going to do a J.J. Abrams Superman film, it is highly unlikely, even though they're pumping up this whole Crisis on Infinite Earths with the TV shows, and even giving nods to the movies in that, apparently, that they're embracing the multiverse of DC Comics, which can go a long way. Certainly with the Joker film, that's how you explain that. It's another universe, and that's how the Joker happens in that world. So they could do that. They could release the Snyder Cut and say, well, there's two different versions of the Justice League that were released, and this is an alternate reality where that happened. Of course, if the Snyder Cut is very popular and does very well, then, well, gee, I would hope that the story could be continued. But then that could cause problems for a J.J. Abrams Superman, on and on and on. So hopefully the Snyder Cut will get released, but as far as it being continued, no, I don't think that'll happen. It's too bad. This is all very interesting, that how would she come back if there is some talk of that. The image that the article uses, oh, look, there's Wonder Woman. Would she be a villain for Wonder Woman? I suppose because she's a super powerful woman and stuff, but I would think the narrative would be better for her to seek revenge against Henry Cavill's Superman for the death of Zod, which it's sort of insinuated that there was a romantic interest between Zod and Faora there. It's very brief. She's very loyal to him, but there's a kind of, they hold hands at the sight of Krypton exploding and all that. And who's to say she was not pregnant at the time of Man of Steel, you know? Yeah, you could throw that in there. And she has a child. And boy, it's mom and son, and Superman's guilt-ridden over he had to kill Zod. He had no choice, but he still doesn't like that he had to. And then there he is, he's facing that, and that make for an interesting a conflict for Superman. But I don't know, because apparently the bridge is burnt between them and Henry Cavill. I guess over pay or what have you. I don't know. Or perhaps he's mad at the direction they went with the movies and humiliating him with the stupid mustache thing. I don't know. And then rejecting the pitch he had with Macquarie while he was doing Mission Impossible and all that. So many a thing could have happened that we just don't know and may never know. But that, you know, it's just there isn't going to be a Henry Cavill Superman. The only hope left is that Black Adam has been announced and confirmed that it will happen, and The Rock apparently is really best buds with Henry Cavill, and so if he pushes for it, even Jason Momoa put his Henry Cavill Superman, and so if there's more clout to be had for people saying you really should do, you know, a Superman movie with Henry Cavill. But I don't know how much that would play into it. So the article goes on to suggest this is a character that could return in other movies, of course, and the picture seems to suggest Wonder Woman if they get the Green Lantern story off. But lately, that's supposed to be a HBO Max series, so I don't know if there's just going to be a movie as well. Or maybe they'll connect it with the movies, and that would be interesting. And with Phantom Zone and whatnot, if they're connecting it to a Superman, when Superman exists in that world, then she could come into that and just be this villain for them, and so forth. So, and then he ends with Brainiac being involved. Yeah, boy, it's taken a long time. We could have been having a Brainiac by now, you would think, and a Man of Steel 2 picture. Should have involved Brainiac, and probably even ultimately Brainiac being the big bad for a third Superman film, or possibly even a Justice League film. That would have been cool. But anyway, I really liked Miss Trowell. I really liked her performance, and it would be a shame if she was not used again in this story. And of course, but it's highly unlikely. Because the best way would be to put her against Henry Cavill's Superman. So, and that is probably not going to happen, and that's too bad. But she did have a very striking and powerful performance in Man of Steel. So, best of luck, and we'll see what she means by working on it. I suppose, hopefully, one day. So, anyway, thank you for watching and listening. Say, why not like and subscribe, and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my many stores that have plenty of goodies for you.